Ladies and gentlemen, Lab After Dark is starting shortly. Lab After Dark is starting soon.
Mary donated $5 through Super Chat. Could this be a karaoke situation?
Lab After Dark is starting soon.
Right.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
I was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever, you know.
What's the point in causing any ruckus?
Lab After Dark starts now.
What's up? How's it going? Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you. And let me make sure I got this here. What's happening? Mona, Sonia, Denise. It's like what is that, Mambo number 5. Who was talking about seals? I like seals. They're very mean. Yeah, you don't really want to encounter one in the wild. They're not the most loquacious creatures that you've ever seen. But they are mean. No joke. Can you see? Who is that? Which one is that? I think that's Macho back there. Samantha, Holly, Kelsey, Mod Squad. I'm sure Martha will be here if she's not yet. Those are very, very nice, courteous mods. Love them so much. How's everybody doing? It's been a couple of days. I wasn't feeling that well, but I won't go into it because it's not that great of a story. But I'm fine. And to be honest with you, I was trying to avoid the social media because it's been wild, just absolutely insane. Today, yesterday, and you know what I'm talking about. The thing that everybody's talking about, and that's the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I do have a few thoughts on it, but I will not belabor the point. The whole show is not going to be about that. I cannot do it for that. I just can't talk about it that long because it's just I don't know. I guess I could. I'm going to choose not to, but I will give you some of my thoughts on such a divisive and controversial figure. The situation should not be controversial in the slightest. The action should not be deemed anything but treacherous and murderous. And none of that stuff to me is controversial. Now, views, opinions, every single political figure that I've ever heard of has always, and I mean always, been controversial. All of them. There's never been one where everybody unanimously goes, well, yeah, love them. It's not how it works. That is not politics as we have them. American politics are insane. People live and breathe and obviously die by them, literally and figuratively. And which is one of the reasons I can't stand politics anymore. I used to sort of I used to like talking about them, I guess, sort of, but it sort of just becomes the same old monotonous bull crap, and you have your abortion issues, which are serious issues. You have your immigration issues. You have, right, left, extreme left, moderate. It's weird. There's so much. Other countries do not do this, probably their dinners are probably much more peaceful. Whatever holidays, Christmas is probably a little more peaceful. I remember from 2015 to like 2000 and I don't know, today, it seemed like it was worse 10 years ago, but the pendulum sort of swings back. And frankly, and I believe this was yesterday, but frankly, what I saw was one of the craziest, most violent, disgusting videos of somebody dying that I've ever seen. Ever. I've never seen anything like that. Not like that. Never. And the fact that something like that, it will be on the internet for the rest of, however long the power grid holds up. I just, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. And there's cameras everywhere. There's, people with, and then after that, you have this sort of subset of people that sort of take this and say, well, look, it's a gun problem or it's a political problem. And I got to tell you that the way that I've boiled it down, to me personally, and this is just how I feel, is it was murder. Public execution, murder. That's what it was. I don't know any other way to put it. It was cold-blooded murder of a 31-year-old man who had a lot of controversial takes and a lot of stuff that he said I did not agree with. And a lot of stuff that a lot of people say I do not agree with. Most people I don't agree with. It's just, and I've learned to just be like, okay, I mean, I don't agree with you, but I've learned, I'm not going to tell you what it is specifically because that just starts a whole thing. So don't try and bait me into anything. But, and I'm smart enough not to answer that question as well. But it doesn't matter because there's nobody in this world that I agree with 100%. Nobody. Not one person. And it's probably at best half. That would be the best that I could probably do. I'll agree with about half of the most liked person or the person that I like the most, which I don't even know who that is anymore. I don't even agree with myself most of the time. Look, Mary, as soon as I said that, look, it's true. I don't. And even talking about this, I don't like talking about this stuff at all. And the reason that I am is, first of all, is because it's everywhere. Second of all, I get asked, hey, what's your take on this? And sort of when you do like these sort of nightly or every other night every other night or whatever it is, you're going to end up having to talk about some things that you don't want to talk about. And there are people that love talking about this. I'm not a big fan. But hold on, excuse me. I'm not a big fan of there's something about nihilistic, malevolent violence that sort of just casts a shadow over everything politically, religiously. You know, most of us are, I would say most of us are, everybody would say that they're pro free speech until somebody says something that they don't like. And then they say, well, that person should be canceled, or that person should be unplatformed, or that person. But as somebody that has a platform, I take great offense to stuff like that. No, you cannot yell fire in a movie theater. It's true. You can't. And you shouldn't. But everybody is supposed to embrace free speech. You know, everybody talks about a democracy. Well, I don't know if any of you know this, but, and I'm sure some of you do, because this is a big misconception that we live in a democracy, and we don't. Matter of fact, the framers of the Constitution didn't like democracy. Democracy is much different than a constitutional republic. We have a constitutional republic. And what that means, at least to me, is that we don't necessarily, it's not this whole, the majority rules. I don't think that it is that. I think what it is the constitutional republic is that you elect leaders, and then those leaders work on bills, and it's not just for one set or one party or one type of thinking or one type of look. There are people out there that think the craziest shit that I just go, oh my God, like that's crazy. A lot. We have, or supposed to, and I know that people feel like these things are being threatened, and, if they are, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I can't, but we have these inalienable rights given to us by the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. So that each individual person born here in America all have the same rights. It doesn't always feel that way. I get it. And I do not think that, to me, celebrating a person's death because you don't like their stance on homosexuality or abortion or religion and celebrating them being slaughtered in front of a group of people and celebrating it. I mean, that to me, that is an erosion of our rights. That. And like I said, there are many things that this young man, and he was a young man, said that I didn't agree with. But that's up to me, and it's up to you. But for some lunatic or lunatics to hop up on a roof and slaughter a law-abiding citizen, whether you like his politics or don't, I mean, it's just like, and I'm not equating Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Abraham Lincoln or John F. Kennedy, but he was a major political figure. And he had a huge influence. And he had a huge following. Smart. Very good communicator. Willing to talk, I guess. I see a lot of people saying, he didn't deserve to die, but make no mistake, he's a horrible person. And you're just going, I mean, okay, you can think that. Who are you trying to convince? Who are you trying to convince a person that did like him or agreed with him? That by posting that on Facebook, you think that somehow is some quasi like indictment on a person's life. I mean, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about life and death. Politics be damned. That's what we're talking about. And the violence, I've just never seen anything like that before. And yes, there are people celebrating it. I've seen it all over the internet. Not an overwhelming amount. Not an overwhelming amount. It was the same thing when the assassination attempt on Trump. People are like, damn, he missed. It's just like, you're just going, oh my God, dude. They say it publicly. They say it out loud without any fear of anything. And I mean, even if I felt that way, I'd be like, golly, shh, But not everybody feels that way. Not everybody sees it that way. Killing is wrong, and celebrating somebody being killed is wrong because you don't agree with their politics. And I get that politics are a lot of people's every day. They live and breathe by it. But I would implore you to not. Because these last 2 days have been insane. And we turn it into a gun debate because there was a shooting as well, and I'm numb to that, which is a terrible thing to feel. And one of the things that really bothers me about this is because I just don't think anything's nothing will get done. Nothing gets done. It's all talk, bravado. It's feckless. It's, neighbors debating shit that doesn't matter anymore. that won't change. You know, it's like, oh, another school shooting. And as terrible as it is, and it is terrible, you go, man, I hope a lot of kids didn't, you know. Stuff like that. You know, and like just me, just me is upset about something. It's I get it. You don't like the president, fine. I get it. There's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that don't like every president. There's no president that has ever been in office that was like overwhelmingly popular. Besides, you know who the most popular president in the history of the world is or was? The most popular president that we've ever had. George was the first president, but he certainly wasn't the most popular. No. It goes even further back than that. There was nobody ever more beloved and nobody more controversial. It's not Trump. It's not Reagan. It's Abraham Lincoln. He was the most controversial president that we have ever had. Ever. And even at the time of his presidency, people were so upset with the things that he was trying to do. And if it were not for Lincoln, the executive branch would have never turned into what it is today. I mean, he really pushed the boundaries of the executive branch. And his cabinet would always warn him. They say, how do you know that you can do that? I mean, this guy was a lawyer who understood the Constitution in many, many ways. Trump is not the most popular president in history. Knock that shit off. It's not funny. If you really think he is, he's not. It's Abraham Lincoln. And he died because of it. But they would always ask him. They would always ask him, sir, can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? And he would always say, because he would come, there's an election in 2 years. There's an election in 1 year. Who decides if you can do that or not? And he would say, the people decide. The people decide if I overstep my boundaries. The people decide, not me. And he did something that was as controversial as anything that has ever happened in the history of the country. He reclaimed what was deemed property by people in the South, which were slaves, and he commandeered them to fight against the exact same thing, which was tyranny and oppression. And it was a crazy, crazy time. Everybody says the country's so divided right now. And it very well may be. But it's not the most divided it's ever been. I mean, there was a civil war. That was pretty No, I just don't think so. I don't. And the reason I don't think so is because I don't know. I mean, everybody's got like cable TV and like hot tubs, and, you know, even the poorest people live, you know, fantastically. It's not like, it's not the same. It's just not the same. The type of civil war that would be fought would be much different. It wouldn't be people taking to the streets. People talk about it all the time, but, you know, until push comes to shove, and then you got to go, hey, I got to go out there and do something. But it's not first of all, I mean, we're not there. We're not, I don't think so. I don't think so. All I come away with is that murder is wrong, and I don't support it in any way, shape, or form. I hope they catch the person that did this. And, you know, it's like, put down your weapon for a cloak. You know, instead of being so angry, maybe try to be more understanding. Why does that person think that way? Not everybody has to think the same way I do. I get told that I'm wrong every single time I do any sort of stream ever. I get told it all the time. And I probably am wrong a lot. But I know that violence, and it's not even just political violence. Political violence is particularly nasty, but I'm talking about just like school shootings. I'm talking about mass shootings. The guy from Buffalo, remember when he went into that grocery store, and then the Walmart guy, and Dylan Roof, and all these, it's just everybody, this extremist bullshit. Just the constant bickering of things that, you know, that's kind of one of the cool things about the United States. If you don't like the laws kind of where you live, you can move to another state and have completely different laws. It's true. I mean, it really is true. That now, should you have to? Probably not, but you can. It's not like you're in Uganda where you're not allowed to, but you can certainly get up and leave. And then as for this young lady on that bus, which is being completely overshadowed, by the way, because a judge let this man out, this violent piece of garbage who attacks a woman from behind, like the coward that he is. You don't need a trial. You don't need, but guess what? He has those same inalienable rights that I just talked about as you do. And I wish he didn't, but he does. And you can see it, and I implore you not to watch it if you haven't seen it. It's not good. It's bad. I mean, it's really bad. And the look on this lady's face as life fades from her and this guy just walks off. Like it's like he did, like he just, I don't know, was throwing away something in the garbage. I've never. And then you find out that a judge, sort of like the Jake Harrow situation, who said it was fake? No, it's not. It's not fake. It is not fake. The man's been charged. It's not. I don't know why you would think that. And by the way, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing. It's very real. It's not alleged. I watched it. I saw it with my own eyes. Not everything's AI. Not everything's a conspiracy. People just do shitty things. And that and like I said, and that is something that has been sort of overlooked because of the big story about Charlie Kirk. And then also it's sort of been overlooked by and then the school shooting as well. The toothpaste doesn't go back in. Once you squeeze it out, it just doesn't go back in. And I mean, that was crazy. I mean, just and these things being caught on camera, and then everybody's able to see them, and you know, people say, well, that's a good thing or it's a bad thing, or you know, I don't know. Look. You know, when you watched what happened to Kennedy, to me that was very graphic, and it was shot on a Zapruder film, whatever the hell he had. I don't even that it's not really that great, but you could see it. You can tell what happened. But for some reason, this culture that we have of these, America's this place of second chances. I don't think so, man. I mean, America gives criminals a lot of second chances. You can rob a liquor store with a gun, and you'll get 10 years. 10 years, which I think, isn't necessarily inappropriate. I mean, it's a severe 10 years, a long time. You don't pull the trigger, but you say, hey, I have a gun and all this stuff. And then you rob the liquor store. They'll give you get 10 years. You get less time for violating a child by a lot. A lot. So much less time. We're talking 2 years suspended sentence. And how is that? I mean, that's crazy. There are so many other things that we should be pissed off about and demand change. Not because somebody's going to campuses and debating people and you go, well, I hate his point of view, so I don't really care that he, died. I mean, that's a harsh take. What is not is knowing that you get less time for violating a child than you do if you rob a grocery store. You know, and I don't know why. I really don't. Makes no sense to me. Dr. Gary, come on. We're trying to tamp this down really right now. Too many second chances. Dr. Gary's passionate. I love it. But you know what he's not? He's not violent. At least I don't think so. At least, I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. Who knows what he does with those plants? Have you ever broken a plant in anger, Dr. Gary, and then had to repot it? But hey, Muscles, how are you? No, I know you don't. I know that 100%. Martha, what's up, Callie? Good to see you guys. Did you have to replant it? If there was something that could set him off, it would be probably like a cancellation to the opera or something. I could see that. I'm doing good. I'm better, I guess. And hold on, Canadian Mama Bear. Good to see you, and thank you. But the political climate is just, it just gets worse, and it just gets worse. And, then I feel like I need to say something about it, because people say, hey, well, what do you think about that? Well, look, when it boils down to everything, when you deduce it all the way, when you render it down, you drain the juice and you mix the pot of, I don't know, chicken salad, however you want to do it. Murder is wrong. And now that image, that clip of him being killed will be on the internet for the rest of eternity. And also the clip of that young lady losing her life on that train. I mean, what in the hell? It was just crazy to me. The look that she gave him. I mean, it just breaks your heart to see something like that. In what world? I mean, this guy had a criminal history. I've heard that him and his child, I've heard his wife was there, and I've heard that his children may have been there. Even if they weren't, look, I don't have to relive it on the internet, what happened in my family, but that, unfortunately, if they didn't see it, they will see it someday. And, that sucks. I don't even like reading about, what happened, in my family. I don't like that. But the fact that it's just like, there's hundreds of view or hundreds of angles and it's just, it's just whatever. I mean, and you got to remember too, he's 31 years old. It's so weird. It's like, like I said, the JFK video, you watch the JFK video, that's bad enough to me. But now we're talking high def 4K. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I've seen it on movies. I've seen it on Quentin Tarantino movies. I've seen it, in Hollywood productions. Never have I seen anything quite like that. Ever. And I hope I never do again. I mean, that image is haunting. I can't either, Dina, to be honest. Yeah, his poor family. Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know. I was talking to my sister about it, because she was asking, and I said, whatever you do, and a matter of fact, I can just I'll read it to you in real time and this was last night. I had a hard time sleeping. Not just because of that, but there's just tons of things, but the train lady as well, like that. I mean, it's baffling to me in the worst way. Let me see. I said, whatever you do, do not watch the video. And she says, is it online? I say, yes. She said, they put it online. I said, it was streamed live. She didn't even know. I get a text. I get a text about an hour later that says, I saw the video. First thing on Twitter. It's everywhere. I told her, don't watch it. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. She said, well, it's the first thing that comes up. What am I supposed to do? I said, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what to tell you. It's an awful thing. And then you start seeing these images of this guy, this thing, this human jumping off roofs, and then you start hearing the conspiracy talk. By the way, today is 9/11. Well, in some places, still 9. I believe it's, what time is it? Still 9/11 here. And well, that was sort of the Black Widow channel. That was sort of my thought. Like I said, there was a lot of things that he would say that I would just go, no, that is not me. That I don't agree with that. But I will defend anybody's right to have those sort of beliefs, and even if I don't agree with them, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like I said, I don't agree with myself. Every day I go, oh my God, you're an idiot for saying that or whatever. And Yeah, but today is 9/11, and I barely even thought about it. Barely. Now, I think that the 25-year anniversary, next year, 25 years it's I don't know. It feels symmetrical, sort of, I guess. And it's kind of a benchmark. But I saw very little about it. I did see some stuff about it today, but I saw very, very little about it. And not like it's been, because obviously what happened yesterday and what happened just a day or so before that on the train. And please do not forget about that lady, that young lady. I cannot get the vision of her looking up and crouching in her chair out of my brain. I just can't. I just have no idea. What happened there? Something blew up. (9/11's) your nephew's birthday. I knew a kid that was born on 9/11, but I think it was before. I think he was born before or after, excuse me. My ghost is back. Yeah. But anyway, I just couldn't, I was just going, I don't know. And then to come to find out that this guy was, let out. Matter of fact, I want to see exactly. So the suspect, let me see here. So the man accused of fatally stabbing the 24-year-old Ukrainian refugee on a Charlotte area transit system train in North Carolina last month. He was been charged with a federal crime. The victim, who police identified as Irena, I'm sorry, Ukrainian names are very tough for me. To escape the war, she came here to find peace and safety, and instead her life was stolen from her. Brown had a criminal history spanning over a decade, including felony breaking and entering, robbery with a dangerous weapon, for which he served a 5-year prison sentence, according to court records. I have directed my attorneys to federally prosecute DeCarlos Brown Jr., a repeat violent offender with a history of violent crime for murder. We'll seek the maximum penalty for this unforgivable. So, it's just like the same thing with this guy. He's done it. Nothing ever changed. Give him a chance. It's why? Why does he deserve a chance? Why does he deserve? It was like that lady. I forget her name, but it was a story that I covered. Excuse me for not remembering, but she was the lady that went out jogging, and it was in Memphis, and she was abducted by that guy, and I believe she was assaulted and killed, and you're just going, you found out that he had like kidnapped somebody before, put him in a trunk. It's like, what is this guy doing out in the streets? How? Yeah, she was a teacher. Exactly. Yes, the teacher. I mean, I just I never understood it. Let me see. Hold on. Eliza Fletcher. That's right. Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Oh yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Yes. That lady was out jogging and they just let a predator back onto the street. No biggie. This just let a psychotic person, that stole I mean she had a family too. She had two little kids and a husband. Guy was did 20 years for kidnapping and something. I don't remember this story exactly, but I remember thinking about going, how does this happen? How do they just let people like that? I mean, and yet, the people that do things to children, like Jake Harrow should have been at least sentenced to, like, I know that some people will say like this is light, and it is, but how he wasn't serving 15 to life is crazy to me. How somebody like that wasn't facing 15 to life for what he did to that child. And look, I would have been fine if they just locked his ass up permanently, because anybody that's willing to do anything to a child obviously has no moral boundaries of what they will and will not do. And it's sickening. There's just like, yeah, it's let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. It's absolutely attempted murder. And by the way, and I have a problem with that too. I have a problem with attempted murder. I think that if you pull a gun out and point it at somebody and shoot them and you miss their heart by an inch and they live, I don't think that you should get rewarded for, getting lucky that they didn't die. But I think that attempted murder and murder are pretty much, I think they're basically the same thing. It's just the intent. That's all that matters to me, is the intent. Attempted murder is stupid. It's a stupid thing because why would you, you miss their spinal cord or the person survives. It's just like, whatever. Yeah. I mean, to fire a gun or stab somebody and they don't die. I mean, what is it exactly that you're trying to do when you do something like that to somebody? The guy on the train station, if that young lady, and God rest her soul, did not bleed out and die, he would have been rewarded for her not dying when his intent was clearly to kill her. That was clearly the intent. So it's just, it doesn't make much sense, and violence is, violence ruined violence ruined my childhood, family, my God-given family. Who obviously I blame my father for, because, well, he's the one that did it. He's the one that did it. So, yeah, jail is just the time. It kind of feels that way, yeah. So, I don't know. No, my father wasn't abused as a child. Nah, he had an okay childhood. He had a better childhood than I did. Let's just say that. So, yeah, exactly. Don't pay a ticket. You're going to jail for 30 days for hurting a child or offing someone. They let you out. I know. If you don't pay your $100 fine, you're going to do 30 days. And you're just like, what? Or, whatever the punishments are. Whatever that is, But once again, like I boil it down to the young lady on the train and the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Murder is murder. And just because somebody has a different belief, and maybe you find it extreme, and maybe you feel that they're stepping on your rights, and they very well may be. There's other ways. There is other ways to go about it. So sorry I wasn't very funny tonight. And but I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. We'll catch you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lab After Dark is starting shortly. Lab After Dark is starting soon. After Dark is starting soon.
Right.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
I was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever, you know.
What's the point in causing the eruption together?
Live After Dark starts now.